Okay. In the last lecture, we have started the unit that is the principles of earthquake resistant design. From that, some of the points we have seen, and that points are here. Conceptual design we have seen. In that conceptual design, we have seen the some points that are the first point was there. While conceiving a new construction, architect designer between them, there should be some interaction. That points we have discussed with respect to the form, shape, and the materials of the structures. Second thing we have seen that in the last lecture, that was related to the mechanism of long period earthquakes during the ground motion. In that we have seen the epicenter, at the epicenter earthquake, when earthquake is occur, at what center, at what location that earthquake is occur, that is nothing but a epicenter. And from that epicenter there are the that waves are produces, that is known as the seismic waves. And these seismic waves are passes in a in the two ways. First one is the body waves and the surface waves, and both the waves are disturbed to our structure, and so that this mechanism we have to utilize for understanding and increasing the resistivity power of the structure with respect to the basic principles that we have seen in the last lecture. Okay. And that already that all parts related to this epicenter waves are producing, and that waves are again disturbing to the structure, and that is also shown in this diagram. And after, and so that we have to take care whatever the basic ideas that we have to apply before planning of the structures and constructing the structures that we have seen. And that according to the building codes, earthquake resistant structures are intended to withstand the largest earthquake of certain probability that is likely to occur at their location, and whatever the loss of life at the epicenter of the or the center of the earthquake, that should be minimized by the preventing or by applying the basic principles related to the earthquake resistant design that we have seen. Afterwards, that conceptual design, that there are the two ways. First one is the basic plan, and second one is the structural design. And afterwards there will be a construction. Based on this, there should be an interaction between the structural engineer and the architects who will make the plan. And based on this, whatever the structural loads come under the structure, at that point all the basic loads come under the structure, that should be a consider while designing of the structure. At that time our building will become as a safe structure, while loads coming like a dynamic loads, like earthquake loads. Okay. And for that purpose there is a configuration of the building should be a good. Again, there are the some of the basic factors that are contributing to the proper seismic behavior of building in a rational conceptual design of structural system are, which are those we have seen already, that are the simplicity, symmetry of the building, ductile detailing of the building, and whatever the loads come under the structure, that should be transferred with respect to the load path direction. That all parameters are very important while designing or planning or the conceptual design at the time of the conceptual design of the building. There are the complex structural system that introduces the uncertainties. If uncertainties are there in our structure, there will be again some of the some overhangs are there, that are the uncertainties in the building, and that are also become that are also whenever the earthquake will come, at that time they will become a structure as a weak structure because of this overhanging, because of this uncertainties in the structure. The behavior of structure during an earthquake depends largely on the form of superstructure. It means parts of our building are in a two types. One is the substructure and the superstructure. So whatever loads of earthquake coming on the structure, at that point our structure should resist all the forces, so that parameter regarding the superstructure and substructures all are having the capacity to resist the earthquake forces. And from this reason, overall form, regular configuration, flow of loads, and the framing system of the building may be of serious concern. If not taken, that is the first step to take a serious note while planning of the building. Okay, such a points we have seen, means while planning of the building, that all points we have to take into account, because these are the very serious concern about the about the building while dynamic loads come under the structure. And for that purpose we have to take that principles, whatever the basic principles, take into account while planning of the building at the first stage. Continuous load path, one of the most fundamental consideration in earthquake resistant design is a continuous load path. Continuous load path is come under this. Which are those parameters? Continuous load path, that continuous load path is in that there is a beams, columns, slabs, means horizontal and vertical members that are come under the structure, and through these vertical and horizontal members that load path is getting transferred towards the foundation. And so that whole parameter related to continuous load path, that should be in a continuous manner, and that should be from column towards the wall, wall towards the foundation, foundation towards the footing, and towards the soil. We this continuous load path is in a well manner, then and then there is a structure becomes a earthquake resistant structure. Next, there will be overall forms. A structure is conceived and designed to transfer the seismic forces to the ground safely. However, the structure may have been designed, it is said to be acceptable only if it meets all the established configuration related requirements from the observed failures during past earthquakes. Means whatever the principles they have made that are related to the basic principles that are based on the whatever the earthquakes happened, that are the past earthquakes, their observation they have made, and based on this, that overall forms or some of the plannings they have made into the account. That what are the overall forms of the building, and based on this past earthquake, whatever the failures, whatever the observations, under this they have made, the building should have a simple, it is regular and compact layout, incorporating a continuous and redundant lateral force resisting system, and tends to perform well during the earthquake, and thus these are the desirable. Means that building plan should be a simple, that will be a regular and the compact layout. It should be incorporating a continuous and redundant lateral force resisting system, and which tends to perform well during the earthquake. There are the oral forms. While planning a particular structure, the guiding principles to be borne in mind as follows, and that structure should be in the following form. Which are those? That structure should be provided be simple and symmetrical. That structure should be simple and the symmetrical in nature, not to be elongated in plan or elevation. That is, the die size should be moderate. Means the our structure, our plan, basic plan we have made, that should not be elongated in plan or elevation. That is, size should be moderate, and which have uniform and continuous distribution of strength, mass, and the stiffnesses. Means it have a uniform and continuous distribution of strength, of every element, and with respect to their mass and the stiffnesses. How the structure should have horizontal members which forms hinges before the vertical members. Already we have seen that point, that vertical and horizontal members, whenever these earthquake loads or whatever the dynamic loads come under the structure, at that point our structure is become safe when our columns are at a safe position. Then and then first thing is that beams will be collapsed, but there is a that columns are in a well position, then there is a no our collapse of the building or failure of the building will not be happen. So that point will become here. And next point is the sufficient ductility. What is meant by the ductility? Ductile detailing of the RCC members. Whatever the RCC members means the structural members, slab, beam, column, footing, that all are connected with each other in a well position. Main steel, distribution steel, their joints, whatever the stirrups, that are tight, bonded or tied with each other. And so that point is nothing but have sufficient ductility. And last point, have stiffness related to the subsoil properties. Means whatever the loads, that load path come under the structure, that will be transferred towards the subsoil, so that subsoil steepness related property of the subsoil should be in a well position. That is the overall form of the structure. From that we will see the simplicity and the symmetry. A simple and symmetrical structure, a square or circular shape, will have the greatest chance of survival of following reasons. Which are those? The ability to understand the overall earthquake behavior of a structure is for a complex one. The ability to understand the structural details is considerably great for simple structure than it is complicated ones. The building regular in plan and elevation without re-entrant corners or discontinuities in transferring the vertical loads to the ground display the good seismic behavior. Means whatever the uncertain, simply and symmetry, means there should be a ignoring, there should be a no, without the plan should be without any re-entrant corners or the discontinuities which are making a trouble during the transferring of vertical loads towards the ground. And that's why that points come here as a discontinuity and the re-enter corners that should be eliminated from the basics plan of the building, and that is come under the simplicity and the symmetry. And it is important that the plan of structure is symmetrical in both direction, in vertical as well as in horizontal direction. In both the direction, that plan should be a symmetrical plan in both vertical and the horizontal direction. You can see here there is a simplicity and the symmetry in this diagram. Already they have shown here with respect to that T section, C section, H type of the section, and how they are converted into the recommended structure. These C type of the structure, flat type of the structure, elongated shape of the structure, that all are come under the not recommended structure, but they have to convert in terms of the ideal behavior of the structure. And they have shown here the ideal behavior of the structure is a square type of the structure, and where that is the in general building with simple geometry in plan shown in the figure perform well during earthquakes. Building with re-entrant corners such as U, V, T and plus shapes will face considerable damage and hence should be avoided. H shapes, although symmetrical, should not be encouraged either. Means these are the not recommended structure. Why? Because of their uneven shape, there is no simplicity and the symmetry in their structure, in their plan, and so that such a types of the plans we have to reduce as far as our earthquake resistance building structures. Okay, that is the point. Next point is again there are some of the elongated shapes, some of the L type of the shape over there, H type of the shape that are not recommended, but we should go for this not recommended structure into the recommended structure with the proper detailing of the corners. You can see in the elongated shape we have that elongated shape we have distributed into the two blocks, and then that will be become as a recommended structure for the basics planning of the earthquake resistant design of structure. In L shape there is that two parts, that is the horizontal and vertical members. Both these vertical member and horizontal members, they are distributed from one separated from one another, and that's why there is that structure will become a recommended structure while designing of the earthquake resistance, while earthquake loading. In that there is a major there is a what will be happen during the earthquake. There is a one problem, there is a that vertical member and horizontal member. In this way there is a whatever the ductile detailing at the corners, that will be getting loses. Why this is going to loses? The probable reason for damage is that the lack of proper detailing at corners in the plan. The building can broken in parts using a separation joint at the junction, and there must be enough clearance at the separation joint so that the adjoining portion do not pound on each other. And figure shows such cases elongated shape, L shape and the H shape of the building. Means whenever these earthquake loads come under the structure, while coming on the structure, what will be happen, that joint between these ductile detailing between this column and the beams, that will be getting looses and that will be getting broken sometimes, and so that structure will become a failure of the structure. Okay, and for that purpose we have to go for the recommendation with respect to the separating the two vertical members and the horizontal members. Next, we have seen the that configuration of the building. In that you can see that vertical members and the horizontal members already they have seen. First figure shows unusual configuration of the building. Unusual configuration of the building. In that unusual configuration of the building, you can see that building is a tallest building. In that height of the building is the elevation is a more. And second thing is that there is a elongated shape. Okay, in both these in these both vertical as well as the horizontal members, there is a elongated shape. So we have to go for the separating these vertical and horizontal members, that height of the building is a more, that should not be act as a good building behavior during the earthquake. Okay, in second thing, there is a configuration of the building. You can see here the building, there is a sloping ground, and during this sloping ground, every column, there is a height of the column is a different one column, 1 2 3 4, that four columns, their height of the building, height of the column is different, and so that whatever the loads come under the structure during earthquake, because of this overhang usually will be formed. Sometimes there will be a some of the failure of this column from first to last, there will be occur, and so that such a condition is not good during the seismic behavior of the building. You can see in the second figure there is a load path is shown, and the whatever the ground story, that is the empty, and only columns are over there, and topmost there is a building is rest on this. But what will be happen, that last story, ground story is empty, and so that there is a again that point come under this, that earthquake, while earthquake loading, that will not be good seismic, act as a bad building during the earthquakes. Okay, come under this example of building with a poor vertical configuration. You can see L type of the there are the two vertical and the horizontal members, but they are in a connected position. Already we have seen in the last slide, there is a poor connection during the earthquake loads, during the dynamic loads come under the structure, and so that such types of the vertical and horizontal members, that should be separated from each other. Okay, next point is that is the symmetry and the simplicity. And that simplicity and symmetry, vertical and plan irregularities result in building responses significantly different from those assumed in the equivalent static force produces. Means equivalent static force in vertical and horizontal irregularities, there is a equivalent static force will be produces. A building with an irregular configuration may be designed to meet all codal requirements, but it will not perform well as compared to a building with a regular configuration. If the building has odd shape, if the building has odd shape that is not properly considered in the design, good details and the constructions are secondary values. Secondary values, although the course gives certain penalties and restrictions, it is important to understand that these recommendations are to discourage and to make the designer aware of the potential detrimental effects of irregularities. Means uh, while performing of the building and the building configuration, there should be minimize the irregularities of the building, which will make a bad effect during the earthquake loading. Elongated shape. Buildings of great length or plan area may not respond to earthquakes in the way calculated. Analysis customarily assumes that ground moves as rigid mass over the base of building, but this is reasonable assumption only for small area. Also, the ground is assumed to be elastic and the propagation of seismic waves in not instantaneous. If different parts of the buildings are being shaken out of step each other, additional incalculable stresses are being imposed, and this effect increases with size. Thus, buildings that are too long in plan may be subjected to different earthquake movements simultaneously at the two ends, leading to the disaster results. Means in both the directions the building should be a symmetrical building in horizontal and the vertical directions, and in the elongated shape also, if the building have a elongated shape, that shape should be distributed into the two horizontal members. In this way, if we go for the if you go for the distributing of that area, there should be minimizes the stresses and whatever the additional loads stresses come under the structures. You can see in this diagram there is a elongated shape. In that diagram, the first is a too tall building, second one is a too long with respect to the length, and the too large in the plan. Okay, in these three buildings, the building with one of their overall sizes much larger or much larger than the other two do not perform well during the earthquakes. Means these are the buildings which do not perform well during the earthquake. So we have to take care while planning of the building for the as far as the performance during the earthquakes of the building. Next, as an alternative, such buildings can be broken into number of separate square buildings. Okay, as an alternative, such a building means as far as the tall building or the too long building or too large in plan of the building, we have to make sure that we have to go for a building can be broken into number of separate square buildings, and buildings such as warehouses have long plan areas will in addition to addition be subjected to excessive horizontal seismic forces, and that will have to be carried by the columns and the walls. Means we have to take care about the whatever the cross sectional area, whatever the length of the length of the buildings, and the that is the height of the building. In this way we have to take care, and we have to broken the plan of the building into the number of the separate square buildings. At that time, we will assume that our building should be building should not building will perform well during the earthquake periods. Elongated shape. In tall buildings with large height to base ratio, means as far as the taller building, there is a ratio is given, that height to the base ratio that is given as the slenderness ratio is greater than 4. The horizontal movements of the floor during the earthquake shaking is large, means height of the building is more a large height to the ratio, means height to the base ratio, that slenderness ratio is more than 4. The horizontal movements of the floor during the earthquake shaking is large. Okay, means taller building, at that time horizontal movement of the floors during the ground shaking is the large, means that ground at the ground floors that will become a movement of the ground floor that will be a large at the earthquake during the earthquake. For buildings with slenderness ratio less than 4, the movement is reasonable, and the more slender a building, the worse the overturning effects of an earthquake. Means the for a building with slenderness ratio is less than 4, the movement is reasonable. But in the first case, there is a height to the base ratio, slenderness ratio is more than 4. Then there is a horizontal movement of the floors during the ground shaking is large. The axial column force due to the overturning movements in such building tends to become unmanageably large. Also, the compressive and pull-out forces acting on the foundation increase tremendously. Means axial forces. There are the elongated shape because of this overhanging, because of the irregularities in the building, because of the irregularities in the building, and because of the uncertainties in the building, that building should be become, that column will be become the structural member of a building, that is the column will be become as a eccentrical. Then there are the some of the damages of, there will be some of the failure will be occur during the earthquake in a large amount. Why? That columns are a eccentrical column, so that we have to take care about that uncertainties also. In this way, there is axial column force due to overturning moments, means overturning moments that will be acting on the column. At that time, the building tends to become unmanageably large, and also the compressive and pull-out forces acting on the foundation increases tremendously. Increases tremendously. So such a points we have to take care while planning of the building. You can see here improving the earthquake resistance of minor buildings. Whatever these plans are shown in this, that are the size of the building, simple the plan and better the performance. Means simpler the plan and better the performance. And second thing is that whatever the construction materials we are going to, or the quality of the materials we are going to use for the construction, that should be in a well position, that all the materials, cement, sand, aggregate, again water, some of the steels, there are the steel, that all these materials which have a good quality materials, performance of such a material is in the good quality, then and then we can increase or we can improve the building quality, and so that our building will become a earthquake resistant building during the earthquake, and it will be performed well during the earthquake. And so that such a parameters, size of the building, construction of the materials, that are the parameters are very important as far as the earthquake resistant of the buildings. You can see as far as this point, that is the strong column and the weak beam concept, and second one is that the horizontal band necessary throughout the masonry. They have shown here the Latur earthquake incident. In that Latur earthquake incident, they have shown the horizontal band necessary throughout the masonry and the strong column weak beam concept. Already maybe we have discussed in the last lecture. Once again I will tell what is the mean by the strong column and the weak beam concept. Strong column means our building having a horizontal members and the vertical members. If that vertical members are in a good position, they are at a their good position, means their material and whatever the sizes, that all these columns of the buildings are at a good position, but that beams are become a weak, means whatever the load, that load will be getting transferred towards the foundation through the columns. Okay, and so that column is a major part, that should be in a well position. At that time, that the building will become a strong column and the weak beam concept, so our building will become a safe building. Why? The columns are strong, weak beam will become a weak, so at that time our building is at a safe position. There is a no any, if any external forces are acting on the building, and at that time also our columns are strong, so at that time building will become a safe. So we have to make sure that our column should be in a, with respect to the RCC member, like a column, we should make sure that material should be in a well position. Whatever the ductile detailing of these RCC members, that should be in a well position. If we achieve this, our building should be become a safe or between during the earthquake loading. But in the second case, they have shown the weak column strong beam concept. In this weak column, means if we go for this weak column concept, weak column and beams concept, means what will be happen when earthquake loads are coming, whatever the loads are coming on the structure, and during that loading, external loading, our column becomes weak. At the first case, what will be happen, that column will become a weak column, and the beams are strong, but whatever the load carrying capacity of the strong, that is going to be reduced, that columns are a major one for as far as our load carrying, as far as our structures, that are the major component, but that will be getting weak. though and then our structure will be getting collapsed or sometimes failure will be occur. And so that we have to know that we have to go for the structural detailing in a ductile detailing of the structure in a proper way. Whatever the material used for the structure that are in a good way. There are the some of the overhangs, uncertainties that we have to reduce. We have some of the there are the some of the movements, some of the movements are acting. So we should take care about the all the forces acting, all the forces come under the structures that are the internal or the external forces or the sometimes dynamic forces, that all should be come into account while planning of the while designing of the structures. Second thing is that the horizontal band necessary throughout the masonry means in this building, that building with the no horizontal intel band, so that that building is getting collapsed from the roof and the walls. So such a parameter should be there. And last they have seen there is a Latur earthquake incident that was the same because of the principles of planning of earthquake, that our principles are not used over here in this plan, and so that's why such a types of the incident occur, that is the Latur earthquake. Okay. Next point is the Bhuj earthquake. In this Bhuj earthquake, again avoid a soft story continue walls in the ground story. Means soft story is continue walls in the ground story. You can see avoid the opening in the ground story. Means that is the very important point for the, as per as our the principles of earthquake resistant design. Soft story and the openings means soft story म्हणजे काय ground story आपली avoid the opening ground story. If openings are provided at the ground, that story will be story is known as a soft story. Why? At that time only columns are there, and on these columns our first, second, third floor will be over there, and last that ground story is useful only for the parking. At that point what will be happen, that loads come under the structure that will be on the columns, and so that the direction of forces and the whatever the loads coming from the top to the bottom, that load path is become unusual, and that's why such a points will be becomes like a booms was happen already, that are the booms earthquake from top to the bottom because of the soft story is openings are provided at the ground story. So that we have to avoid such a points, that is the avoid soft story continue walls into the ground story. So we have to go for the making that continue walls into the ground story. That is the only maybe 2 minutes are remaining as far as our Zoom time, lecture time. 2 minutes. All of you, I am requesting all of you to join, rejoin the meeting once again if that meeting is ended. Okay. So once again I will tell that improving the structure. So there are the points, which are the points are important: size of the building, construction material. Again, third one is the construction material. Again, hello. माझं लेक्चर चालू आहे सर. So we have to take the points regarding this while planning of the building that are related to the size of the building. Second one is the material used into the building, and the such a over that openings should be avoided from the ground story of the building. That are also very important point as far as the principles of the planning of the building. We'll continue with respect to this point, that is the stiffness and strength parameters into the earthquake resistant building. Stiffness and the strength. Strength is the property of an element to resist the force. Stiffness is the property of an element to resist the displacement. When two elements of different stiffnesses are forced to deflect the same amount, the stiffer element will need more force because it resists more to deflect. Okay, we'll stop here. I request all of you to rejoin the meeting on same link.